Welcome to the Creation Innovation Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth King. Together, we'll have conversations with incredible human beings who have taken their creative outlet and turned it into something innovative. From people leaving the corporate world to be 8-figure entrepreneurs to people who have created books, created a family, or just creating to have fun in the world. We are all in a journey to create something amazing in our lives, and I hope that you find some inspiration of your own here. This is the Creation Innovation Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back. I am so excited to talk with my friend Kim Perry today. She is a dedicated and energetic fit mom and coach, as you will see if you are following her online. And if you aren't already, please go follow her. As a prenatal and postnatal fitness specialist, Kim designs at-home workouts for busy moms so they can spend more time with family. She influences women to create their healthier lifestyle through mindset shifts, energy building tools, and goal setting. Welcome, Kim. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I know. So I wanted to just first chat on how did you get on this track of fitness? Is it something that you've always done? Is it something that kind of came because of having kids, or where did that fall into place for you?
Okay, I always played sports growing up. I'm one of 3 girls, and I always joke like my dad must have really wanted a boy because he signed us up for every sport. But looking back, like I have so many memories from that, and it was such a big part of my childhood and upbringing. And then I think it was in college that I started to go to work out, like go to the gym because I didn't have sports anymore. I tried college sports for one season. I did college field hockey.
Oh,
And it was just really intense. I think I missed like having teammates more than I missed the sport itself. So yeah, we had, a gym right on campus, and my college roommates were health and nutrition majors. So they were really into health and fitness. And I just enjoyed it. I found like a new hobby. Like that was my
right.
hobby. Also coming from like a competitive I am competitive by nature. So like, I just love that feeling, the exhilaration of like a really good workout. And then, yeah, after college, I just kept up with it. I got into running. I ran my first marathon, but like the gym was like my home. And then when I got pregnant, it totally changed everything because I could not do what I was once able to do.
And so were you one of those people that you see in the gym? I remember even, in my younger years that were like super pregnant, but still going hardcore. I'm like, that's impressive. And then
Oh,
once I got to that point, I was like, yeah, I think you're either born that way that you can do this, or my body was like, pregnancy was not necessarily my friend. So,
oh.
how did that shift for you, being somebody who that's what you lived and breathed so long, to now having this belly in front of you and, showing up at the gym in a different form?
Yeah, I started cringing when you were like, were you that girl? I was thinking you were talking about like that. I felt like I was a gym rat. Like I cringed thinking about the gym selfies I used to take. Oh my gosh. But listen, back in like 2014, 2015, that was the thing. Like you took the cringy
You're like, everybody
sweaty
was doing
pictures.
it.
Everyone was doing it. But no, when I got pregnant, my first pregnancy, I swore up and down. I was like, I will never be pregnant again. This is so awful. I was so tired. I mean, I was still, I think, into my second trimester going to the gym, but I just felt so restricted by all of the modifications. And people would literally tell me, like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that when I was at the gym. And I was like, what? Like, I feel, why can't I do what I want to do? I know my body. So that's when I really dove into like the research of like the pregnancy anatomy and what your body is doing, the muscles, how they're changing, especially around your core. But to answer your question, no, I was not at the gym in my third trimester. And I was really mad at myself for that. Like I started working out at home because that's all I could muster up the energy to do, which looking back, like I did a great job at staying fit and just, maintaining some sort of a routine, but I was so hard on myself. So yeah, I was like you, I was like, no, I'm not that person. I'm not that crazy
Yeah.
girl doing chin-ups with a 9-month pregnant belly. No, that was not me.
Yeah. It's funny that you say kind of hard on yourself because I remember now that you're saying that I felt that way as well. And I had medical situations where I actually was told not to work out the first 3 months and then basically the last three of my last two pregnancies. So
Wow.
you have this sort of guilt as well of like, I know I shouldn't be working out because the doctor tells me that I shouldn't be, but I feel like I should because I want to keep my body healthy and in shape and whatever. So it's this weird mind game that you're playing with yourself of feeling like my body should be capable of doing this, but yet
Mhm.
I mean, I know I had placenta issues, and basically the doctor told me if there is any sort of blood, it's a 911 call, and you and
Mm,
your baby may not survive. So I took that very seriously,
terrifying.
especially for
Mhm.
my last two. But at the same time, there was still this conflict of, but I kind of want to work out. And I feel kind of guilty for not working out, you know?
And also, it's not just like the physical. I feel like of half the reason I work out is for the mental component. Like I get such
Hmm.
a clear mind after I work out. I just feel better mentally. So that's a big thing. So what did you do when they told you don't
I
do anything?
I didn't. I literally, and actually, I didn't work out and then had complications after my C-sections for both of them. So it ended
Okay.
up being a very long time before I could get back to working out. And to be honest with you, one for me, after I take that long break, it's so hard for me to break the ice to get back again. I'm one of those people that if I'm good 6 days a week working out, but then once that's broken, it's so hard to get back to do that. And I think that's where what
Okay.
you come to the table with now for people is it makes it so easy to ease back into that perspective of I'm moving my body, I'm doing something healthy for myself, and I don't have to, for me now, it's if I go to the gym or I go to Pure Barre or whatever it is I'm working out with, I'm the drive time there, the time while I'm there, and then the drive time back. Like I don't have the time to do that anymore.
Oh gosh, no.
So how did you kind of transition everything to what you're doing now? And if you can share with the audience what it is exactly that you do now.
Okay, so yes, my workouts are much shorter than what they used to be. If I had to drive to a gym to work out every day, it would never happen. Like maybe once a week, and then I'd beat myself up for all the days that I just didn't have the energy or couldn't fit it into my schedule. Oh my gosh, that sounds so stressful. Like
I
no wonder
know.
why. Yes, of course it's going to be hard to do that because now you have to find childcare. You have to worry about like, okay, when am I going to nurse the baby? In order to like, when is this going to fit? Like, what window can I fit this into? Especially when you're leaving the house. Oh my gosh, it's just so much prep. So for
Mhm.
my workouts, they're all at home, very minimal equipment. And I switched, I realized which workouts were going to be the most effective for me and which ones are going to get the most bang for my time. I want to cram as much workout into 15, 20 minutes as I can. So that's why I have more of like a HIIT boot camp style workout available for pregnancy and postpartum. Both are a little bit different just because our bodies are different in each season. But yeah, I just really cut down on like the fluff of like if you think about at the gym when I used to go for nearly 2 hours, I would, spend a lot of time working or warming up either on a treadmill, a stair climber, trying to get like cardio in at like steady state. And then I'd go to the weight. Like you waste so much time waiting for weights or like in between sets, or, you go on your phone to like put on a song and then you see a text and there's so many distractions. So I'm like, my workouts did not need to be that long. I wasted so much time at the gym. So here it's a video, you press play, it brings you through all of the moves, and some workouts are only 10 minutes long, but you're still going to feel the effects of it. You're going to see the benefits of it. Like we talked about that mental clarity you feel after, and they can be done if you have little ones around. It's something you can do with them or with them nearby. Cause I know how hard it is to find that time, but also like, tell the kids, hey, mom's going to do a workout. And if it's longer than 20 minutes and you already have to pause it a couple times, Yeah. So we keep it short, very, very effective, and no fluff in there. It's straight to the down to business.
And when you started to put this together and create this in your mind, was it something that you had this idea of, I'm going to create this at home online workout for moms, and then it took a while to come to fruition? Like, how did the innovation around what you created actually come to life? Like, how,
So,
walk us through
okay.
that.
This is kind of a cool question because I was just doing it. It was my second pregnancy, and I kind of knew like what worked for my body. I knew what didn't, and I was just doing my workouts, and I was doing the sweaty gym selfies 2.0 at my house, posting about my pregnancy and my workouts, and I just started getting questions. What are you doing? What workouts should I do? I'm pregnant too. Or, what modifications are you making? Can I do burpees if I'm pregnant? Like, I would get all these questions. That's when I decided to get certified myself, because I didn't feel comfortable. I mean, I knew the answers because I had done my own research, but I got certified in postnatal fitness. And then I was like, wait a second, I have all my workouts. Like, they're literally written out. I could sell this. I could make a program and help other pregnant women, because obviously it's kind of funny because there was, the fitness community we were talking about, the sweaty gym selfies, all those girls, we all started getting pregnant at the same time. And they started feeling how I felt when they were like, oh, I can't do that workout. What am I supposed to do? I missed the gym. I missed this. So I just saw this window of opportunity, and I was like, wow, this is going to help so many women. It's going to take all the guesswork out of what they can and can't do. It's going to help them stick to a routine versus like feeling forced or having to drag themselves to the gym. And that's kind of how it was created. It wasn't like, I don't want to say it wasn't intentional, but like it just happened so naturally.
Which I feel like is the best thing,
Mhm.
right? Because we were talking before we got on the podcast of our list of things that we want to get to, later. For me, it's the books and whatnot. But when it just happens naturally and it just goes, you don't even realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm creating something and I'm not even really, it's just so in the flow that you don't have to put as much effort into it, I
So
guess.
in
Not that
the
you didn't
flow.
put effort into it, but
Right.
it's like a
It's a
natural
different
evolution.
it's a different kind of effort. It's a flow. It's not forced. And that's another thing. Like when I tell people, because people are like, how do you post on Instagram every day? And I'm like, document, don't create. You're already doing the things that people will learn from, that you could help people with, like you could help people with sharing the smoothie that you made for breakfast. You could help people with showing like what workout clothes you're going to wear for your workout. Like, it's so simple. Instead of like forcing this creation, just allowing it to flow and allowing it to happen, and just kind of taking a step back and looking at what you're already doing.
Yeah, so you perfect segue to your online community. How did you build this amazing online community? First of all, that's one question. And then second, I know so many people, students of mine and whatnot, that have that struggle. Like you were literally just saying, how do I get up to show up every day online? And maybe not even every day, once a week, right? Like, and building all the content and all of that kind of stuff. Do you feel like it's just natural to you now, and at one point it wasn't? Or how did that work for you? How can you help and give some advice to people that are like, oh my gosh, I am starting this business and I need to show up, and I just feel like I'm struggling with either putting content together, or it's not interesting, people don't care, what I'm doing today or whatnot, or it's not necessarily related to my business. So is it okay to share my kids if my business is something else? Those sorts of
Yeah.
things. How did that work out for you?
Okay. There's a lot of ways we could go with this, but first I want to note that Instagram is very different today than what it was years ago. And it's probably going to change in the next 6 months, and then again in a year. And it's just an evolution. But the one thing that I think you can rely on is that people, or how am I going to explain this? I'm just trying to think. Like, it really just boils down to a few simple things. people want to know you. So like you were asking, like, is it okay to show my kids if my business is, I don't know, not related to children?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, I sell mugs on Etsy. Let's pretend that's your business.
Okay.
Yeah, like I personally feel more connected to someone when they tell me, like when I know their story. And one of my friends, she sells shirts. She has her own clothing line. And
Mm-hmm.
for the first time ever, like her shirts are wicked cute. People buy them no matter what. But
Yeah.
she shared with me recently how she got started. And her story was about, she ordered some shirts off of Etsy. She's so excited to wear them. Her first Mother's Day matched her baby, her shirt and a baby shirt. That day they started to peel off and she was so frustrated. And she's like, I could have done this myself. Wait, I could have done this myself. And that's how she started her business. I was like, you need to share that. Like, that is so, like, such a great story to tell about the birth. And then, so number one, people want to know you. So sharing those little bits of your day is always a great idea. And then building that trust factor by sharing reliable information, credible information, educational information. If you can teach somebody something, they get a hit of dopamine by learning something. Like you could say, did you know if you get less than 8 hours of sleep every night, you're more likely to, I don't know, one of those statistics. But when you learn something, for even just a second, it feels so good and you get a takeaway and they remember that. And then if you start teaching them about a specific subject, they're going to associate that subject, pregnancy, for example, with you. So I made a point to just really go in on sharing helpful information, whether it was just a fun fact of the day every once in a while, but also being entertaining. We go on these apps for entertainment. Think about when you are scrolling, you are probably either on the couch in bed, or maybe you're like waiting in line at the bank or something, and you're scrolling because your mind wants something fun to look at, something silly or interesting. So keeping that in mind as well. But yeah, I was trying to check all the boxes and just make sure that my page was a place that people wanted to come back to. So that's really kind of what I went with. And when people ask me that, they're like, how do you, get people to follow you? And I'm like, well, you have to give them a reason to follow you. You have to be putting out this helpful, useful, funny, educational, entertaining content.
Was it always easy for you to show up online?
Yes. I feel like it's harder for me now because I've been overthinking it recently. I'm just like, am I posting too much? And really, I always go back to like, what was the old Kim doing? And I was like, not that I wasn't caring, but I was posting because I wanted to. And that's something I also want to highlight. Like, it's, yes, all those things like educating and making sure, people like what you see, what you're posting is great, but you have to be happy too. You need to post because it makes you happy and fulfills you. Like, it's
Yeah.
your message and you have to be really passionate about your message in order to put it out there and say, some people might not like this, but this is it. This is me. And oops, what was that? Did you hear that? I don't know if you heard
Yeah.
that on my computer.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, being able to stand strong in like what you believe in. And because if you allow what other people think of what you post to kind of shift and change that, it's not going to be your account anymore. It's not going to be your social media. It's going to be theirs.
Right. And I think too, I tell people, if you're not feeling it and you don't feel aligned, don't post because
Yeah.
people can tell that energy, right? So
Yes.
take a break if you feel like you need a break because you want it, to your point, you want to be sincere and passionate about what you're talking about because that shows, I feel, that people can see that maybe you're just not aligned that week or you don't feel well or whatever, and that's completely okay. But I think just allowing yourself that grace to be like, okay, let me do a reset, I'll come back when I'm feeling it, and just kind of regroup yourself.
Right. No, totally. I've been taking way more breaks now than I ever did. I would never take time off ever. I would never miss a day of posting. And now I'll take 2-3 days off at a time. And it feels really good.
And do you
Feels
post
good.
in your feed every day, or do you post, when you say posting every day, is it stories or what do
So
you do?
I love posting on stories because I feel like I'm talking to my person, my one
Yeah.
person. And I can talk like, hey, you'll never guess what I did today. I took a dance class for the first time. I actually did that this week. So that just,
Fun.
yeah, it was really fun. But I don't know. I still get nervous sometimes posting on my feed. I'm not nervous, I should say, but like I overthink it. I just overthink it. I don't post every day on there. I don't feel the need to either. I'm really happy with like where I'm at. And like you said, I post when I feel inspired and aligned and like an idea comes through. I'm like, yes, okay, I'm going to make this real right now versus, oh, I haven't posted it in 5 days. I need to think of something. What can I do? See the different energies there. It's just like, what's going to best serve me and my community. I'm going to wait till I get in that flow. And then normally when I have these like inspired, like great ideas, I make a couple different posts to post like later for those days when I'm not really feeling that creative.
Yeah.
That helps too, just like batching.
Right. And
Mhm.
what about competition? Does that ever get in your head? Do you have people that you look at that you're like, oh my gosh, she's doing this, I should be doing that, or this or that? Or does that not get in your head?
Yes, it does. It
What
definitely does.
advice do you have for
Oh
somebody that
gosh.
is that way? That it's just, you know, I always say kind of keep your blinders on, stay in your lane. It doesn't
Yes.
matter. Again, to your point as well, my people are a Jessica and a Kelsey. So if I'm talking to Jessica today or I'm talking to Kelsey today, and that's all I need to think about is
Wait,
who am I
who's
talking?
Jessica and Kelsey?
They're the make believe people in my head, right? So
Okay, okay, okay,
yeah.
okay.
And
Oh,
so
I
when
like
I'm
that.
getting out there to talk, it's who am I talking to today so that I feel
Okay.
like instead of I'm talking to the whole world, I
Yeah.
just
Okay.
focus in on what does she need to hear today versus, oh my God, that person's doing this and I should be doing that instead. And they're
Mhm.
doing it better and they have more followers. And,
I know.
it
It's
can
so
be a total
hard.
spiral.
Oh, I actually just listened to a great podcast on comparison, which I can share with you later. But
Yeah.
my advice would be number one thing that I do is I just look at all the women who are already in my community, the ones who are doing my workouts and checking in. And I'm like, why? Like, what would it mean to them if I was worried about like being different or competing with somebody else? You know what I mean? Like, I think, and then I look at like my mentors, like people that I've paid and I've hired, and I'm like, what if she was stressed out about Sally or Kelsey or whoever? Like,
Right.
that is not a good look. That's not a good look.
That's a great perspective.
Yeah, right. But like you said, the blinders, like when you just focus on what you've got in front of you and the people that you're helping and your ideas, it just makes it so much like it opens up that flow again that we keep talking about. Like, and you can stay in your zone versus all the distractions because there's always going to be distractions out there. There's always going to be new people. But yeah, so that's my tip is just bringing it back to your community, the people that you want to help.
Yeah, thank you for that advice. And as far as what you're creating and this amazing community, what's next for you? What does the future for Kim Perry look like?
Oh my gosh, this is a hard question for me because I can only see like a few weeks out.
That's
I
okay.
struggle with like the bigger vision, but currently I am launching a pregnancy coach mentorship for women that want to help other pregnant women based off of your
Yay.
experience and yours. I just feel like there are so many women out there that need support, and there will always be pregnant women who need more support. I feel like we can all talk about our story of our struggle and what we wish we had, what we wish we knew. So if we can build more pregnancy coaches to help this community, like we're just gonna just start thriving. Like I cannot wait
Yes.
for all the pregnant women to just be thriving. So I am
Yeah.
starting that at the end of the month, which I'm really
And how
excited
do people
about.
get involved in that?
I do have an application. So I think
Okay. And do you have to be pregnant currently to
oh
do
no,
it or
no.
okay.
No. So I have one woman enrolled who does not currently have any kids,
Oh,
but
okay.
she is going to be helping women who also are trying to conceive like she is. So she'll be on the journey with them. And then I have a couple others enrolled that do have kids, not pregnant now, but they do have, like I said, that experience that they've been through, and they're each, specific, and they have different backgrounds, which is what I encourage you to bring to the table. What, like we talked about how I was into fitness my entire life, basically. So I don't expect everyone to be a fit pregnancy coach, but if you have a degree in mental health, hello, like that is so needed, or nutrition, maybe even like breastfeeding and like the postpartum stages.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no requirement in terms of like being pregnant or having kids.
Okay.
If you want to help, the help is needed. It's out there. It's never going to go away. So I am really excited to launch the mentorship.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then I have clothing line coming out. I did a clothing line earlier this spring, and we're bringing back like the top pieces as well as some new colors. And then I have like a new fall launch coming out that is going to be cozy and lots of knits.
Amazing.
It's all like athleisure. Wait. When I say clothing line, I feel like I have to specify. It's half workout clothes, half lounge mom uniform, like sweats. And
I was going to say, that's what we wear like 99% of the time. So what else is there really?
Yeah.
I feel like today I'm in regular real clothes and a dress. My husband was like, "Oh, like what's happening today?"
What's the occasion?
I know. And it's funny because that I talk about feminine energy all the time with trying to conceive and all of that, and what a big role that plays, because we are so used to living in this more masculine role and doing all the things. And really, when you do step into that feminine energy and you put on a dress like I did today, you do feel different. And your husband does notice you a little different and whatnot, which is kind of fun. So yes, I feel like all that athleisure, lounge, workout wear, whatever is, I mean, what would we do without it? Really? Yeah. And how can they find all of that?
All right.
Information on your mentorship, clothing line, all that kind of stuff.
Over on my Instagram is probably, you'll find everything there at Kim Perry Co. So Kim Perry CO. And then my website is kimperry.com, which actually is more of like a recent change. It was like some long web address before. Now it's just kimperry.com. I love it.
Yay.
Finally. Yes. Finally.
That's exciting. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing all your nuggets of good information for people that are on this similar path as you. I feel like there's so many of us, as you said, that are this whole pregnancy, postpartum, all those things are not going away. And just having the community of people to know that have been through it and that are thriving on the other side, and know that there's life after this situation, and or when you're in it, sometimes it just feels like, oh my gosh, will I ever get to the other side? I know for me, those years of trying to conceive and struggling through that, and pregnancy not being easy, and now having that behind me, like I feel like I can finally just, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to like work out? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Because I was so consumed with so much around babies and trying to have babies and miscarriages and all the things that you realize it just consumes so much, right? So I think that having that community of support in what you're doing is so amazing and so needed. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, well, thank you for everything you do. And it's just like everything is temporary is like my biggest phrase or like mantra.
Yes.
Pregnancy and postpartum and like toddler years, like everything is temporary. It's all just a phase or a stage that's going to bring you to a different phase or stage.
Yes, so that's great advice to leave us with, because I will take that for today. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thanks, Kim. We'll chat soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Creation Innovation Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Spotify for free episodes, and subscribe to the Creation Innovation Podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you choose to get your podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast wherever you're listening for a chance to receive a special gift. Yes, we actually do send out gifts. It's my favorite thing to do. So visit us at elizabethking.com/creation. Creation Innovation for more information on how to enter. Every review counts, and we are so grateful. You can follow me at the official Elizabeth King on Instagram or TikTok. Until next time.